Hello, this is Todd Luck with another Power Rangers discussion video. Hasbro completed its deal to buy Power Rangers for $522 million on June 12th. So we're now in a time of transition, less than 2 months into the Hasbro era. And I'd say so far so good. But before we get into that, let's take a look at what Hasbro has and has not done so far. We've got an announcement for next season that it will be an adaptation of the Sentai series Go Busters, and it will be called Beast Morphers. We know Hasbro will take over manufacturing and distribution of the toys in April of next year. I expect this may delay next season's premiere, but we'll just have to wait and see. We know that Hasbro kept numerous Saban employees who were in charge of the franchise, indicating an interest in the brand remaining consistent. Ham Saban will be involved as an advisor. Producer Judd Lynn is continuing with the show. We know Hasbro has also kept other key people, including Brian Casenti, who co-produced the show and the movie and wrote for Hyperforce, and Melissa Flores, who was the Power Ranger content director and historian who was often seen in Hyperforce post-game shows. And there's also a quote from Hasbro CEO Brian Goldner that's gotten a lot of press. Before I read that quote, I just want to say Goldner is not just the best name for a rich guy ever, it's also a great name for a guy in charge of Power Rangers. I can only imagine all the jokes and memes that are coming. Make my Goldner growl! So anyway, here's the quote. As I mentioned, we've now announced the acquisition of Power Rangers. This is really a great statement about where we believe we are in developing our brand blueprint. The fact that we can acquire Power Rangers brand and plug and play that right into our strategy where we activate it in entertainment, motion pictures in the future, and then of course across toys and games and consumer products and do so globally, we felt the brand was very underleveraged and undervalued. We feel we can exploit it to a much greater extent, and it was a great opportunity to acquire the brand. Now, there has been some good reporting on this and some bad reporting on this. And the bad reporting has said that they're definitely doing a Power Rangers movie, or a sequel, or a reboot. None of that is true. He did not say that. He just mentioned an intention of making a movie. Just an intention. Every company that's owned the franchise has wanted to make a movie of it every year since the first episode of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. They've succeeded only 3 times in 25 years. Movies are hard to make. You have to convince movie studios to invest over $100 million to make one. It's a big gamble. This is not a decision Hasbro can make. A movie studio would have to want to make another movie. Thus far, none have said they will. That could change tomorrow. That could change years or decades from now. Any company that acquired a superhero property for $522 million is going to want a movie of it. That's not news. That's just a given. But there are hundreds of movies that never get made. Hasbro, with its resources and track record, have a better chance than most at getting another one done, but the real question is when. Be patient. Again, this may take years, may take many years. If you read that production has been scheduled for a movie that's actually been cast, then yes, it's probably happening. Other than that, it's probably just clickbait, rumors, or lies, and we're probably going to have a lot of that in the next so many years until we get another movie. So how are we doing on things that are actually happening soon? Well, most things are plugging along. Some of the recent announcements include 25th anniversary Mighty Morphin Power Ranger Funko Pops, and those include helmetless Rangers, White Tiger Zord in battle mode, and villain pops like Pumpkin Wrapper and Pudgy Pig. There's also a Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Green Ranger teddy bear from Build-A-Bear Workshop. There's even a dragon dagger you can buy for it that makes sound because a teddy bear that summons the Dragon Zord is obviously the best thing ever. The Power Rangers visual history book is still scheduled for a September release. Ryu as a Power Ranger has been released in Legacy Wars, a Power Rangers vs. Street Fighter short live-action film tie-in with Jason David Frank and Sierra Hanna is supposed to be released online this fall by Bat in the Sun. So presumably the Street Fighter Legacy Wars crossover in the game will last through at least the end of the year. Both Power Ranger comic series from Boom Studios have had their post-Shattered Grid plotlines announced with new creative teams that will take both those books into the next year. There's also an Old Man Tommy graphic novel called Soul of the Dragon by Kyle Higgins that will be released in December. These are a solid indication that Hasbro is continuing with the commitments made by Saban. This may sound like a no-brainer, but when companies get bought out, things tend to get canceled or shuttered. For instance, when Disney bought Lucasfilm, they canned its entire video game division and canceled all the games being developed. They also canceled Clone Wars, even though half of the next season was already done. But that's because Disney was looking at Lucasfilm solely through the lens of what would make them the most money, which was the new movies, and what would tie into those new cash cows. Hasbro seems to be looking at Power Rangers as a property and not as a spreadsheet, so that's a good thing. That's not saying there won't be canceled projects and changes as time goes on, but the fact that we're not being bombarded with them right out of the gate is a positive sign. I've only noticed 2 bits of trouble so far. One is RangerNation.com and its 25 for the 25th anniversary announcements on the 25th of each month. There was none for July. This could be an oversight, or they may have decided to stop updating the site. The other issue is the toys. Bandai has had some distribution issues since late last year with some rather curious delays on things like the Psycho Ranger wave of legacy figures that has yet to hit the United States. They are continuing to put out product, but how much and what those products will be before their license runs out at the end of March, we're just going to have to wait and see. This seems to be an issue with Bandai and not necessarily with Hasbro. I'm not sure if there's some bad blood over the break with Saban, or if there's some kind of financial or logistical problems on Bandai's end. I hope we get all the things we want before the end, though. So again, so far so good on the Hasbro transition. With Power Morphicon coming up in August, I'm sure there will be more announcements soon. Will the comics remain at Boom Studios? Will we get a Hyperforce Season 2? How long will Legacy Wars last? And will I ever get a life-size Fire Smasher? Only time will tell. So that's it. Like and subscribe for more videos, and until next time, make my Goldner grow!